everybody. Welcome to another MAFS rewatch. We are doing season 9 rewatch in North Carolina, and this is episode 2. And recording with me all season long is Jen. Hi, Jen. How are you doing?
Hey, Teen, I'm doing okay. I'm in a little bit of a loud hotel, but I'm excited. We got the episode watched, and there's so much to go over. I can't wait.
I know. How are you feeling? Like one word to describe how you're feeling now that you've seen episode 2. Because episode 1, I can understand excitement, not knowing what to expect. But with episode 2, how are you feeling about the season?
I wish I could come into one word, but I have no words. I just have sounds, and that sound is ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting because it's still unfolding for me, and they're just things that I'm like, oh yeah, there was that and there was that. So but before we go into that, let me do some housekeeping for you guys. Just a reminder that I have a Patreon, and that's patreon.com/altacall MAFS, where you can listen to the episodes ad free. There's a tier for that. You can listen if you want bonus episodes, that is episodes other than maths. Just recorded a recent episode of Sister Wives with Aid. You can have a tier for that. If you'd like to get the episodes early, there's another tier for that. So just check out the Patreon. Again, patreon.com/autocall MAFS. That's about all the housekeeping that I have. Pretty quick, pretty going. But so I'll skip into the past maths participants and what is going on with them. Nothing really exciting, but Jamie is going through breastfeeding pains and thinks that she has to stop breastfeeding because I'm not sure what is going on with, as she calls it, her nips, which for those who don't know, that's her nipples due to breastfeeding. And because of that, she posted a very close up picture of it to show it inflamed, I believe. So
Ew.
I'm sure no one is. It wasn't like it wasn't distasteful. I don't even know how to say it. It was so close up that it looked like, like something you'd see like in your science class, like something in a petri dish. I'm making it sound worse. I don't know how to describe it, but if you didn't know that's what she was posting, you would know that's what it was. But I don't know. She shared it.
But like words are a thing. If you tell me red, inflamed, painful, I got you. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
see a close up of your nipple. Like what? Boundaries are cool. Cool
There are
things.
no boundaries here. And that's not it with Jamie. She took a pregnancy test because according to her, they haven't been careful and she's been so emotional. And the last time she was that way, she was pregnant. She does feel like her family is complete, but then she also feels like she's meant to have a little girl. I mean, I think she meant to say another girl because her oldest child is a girl, so she's meant to have a little girl, and I think her oldest child also wants a sister. So I think it came out negative because if it was positive, we would know about it by now. But yeah, that's the latest in the Jamie and Doug household.
All right. Yes, because heaven forbid a day pass or we don't know exactly what's happening in every millisecond of their lives. And I think about this too, because I think, was it, there was a MAFS like reunion special episode where Courtney Hendricks was on and she was
Hmm.
talking about oversharing the kids and
Hmm.
kids aren't old enough, and I think this is one of those examples where I agree with Courtney, because although for Jamie it was a slip of the tongue to say, oh, I want a girl, like that can play back to a kid, and that can really potentially damage a kid. So you just have to think about what you put out there. It's just, I don't know, it seems like a lot.
In her defense, I think maybe she's saying it because her kid is also saying she wants a girl. She wants a sister. So I don't know. I don't
I
know.
I
I
mean,
never try to understand.
I know we're gonna have to break up. You're saying nice things about Jamie. I don't know how I feel about this.
I'm practicing my kindness.
You're doing a very good job. Very good job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so Camille posted, I think like a birthday surprise that Thomas had planned for her, rallied her best friends and her family, and got that done. And then he also posted that their London dump. I mean, I know that they've traveled to other places, but this trip to London must have been epic. They've been talking about it since the reunion, since after the reunion, but he just did a dump, I guess, from when they weren't allowed to post pictures on there.
That makes sense. And it might be one of those, you know, are we getting prepared for an announcement? Like, let's slow roll this stuff. You know, I'm always suspicious when things come out of the blue. And if it's not in his character to post that much, I'm like, what's going on here, Thomas?
I feel like all the cast of maps have been feeling very comfortable. And I think I've mentioned this before. A lot of the ladies are doing like a, what's it called? I know it's LTK, link to know, or link to, I don't know.
I
But the
think, yeah,
link to
link to
buy
know
their,
it. Hmm.
yeah, their clothes and what they're wearing and outfits and workouts. David and Madison are just posting each other and professing their love. And Madison just posted a picture like, I hope everyone gets to feel a love like this, where you feel cared for, seen, though we went through many hoops. And then David repost, they always repost each other. And then David reposted and is like, you never have to worry about me. And then so pictures of them, hugged up on each other and things like that. So I don't know. Everyone's comfortable now.
Yeah. And I so desperately, I saw that on my feed today and I was like, should I go in the comments? Should I not go in? I'm real curious what the comments are. I didn't do it though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of still the most recent season, all the girlies, except Madison, of course, went to a Pilates class that was taught by Carla. So they had a link up, so
I
to
love
speak.
that. Ooh,
Yeah.
are you on this TikTok Pilates mess debacle nonsense?
I'm not on TikTok,
Ah, okay. Well,
so I don't what debacle.
some it has nothing to do with maps, but some
Okay.
thin appearing young lady decided to go on TikTok and say that anybody that's 200 pounds should not do Pilates, or if they have a tummy, they shouldn't be an instructor. And she thought she ate with that, but instead she lost her job. And the internet sleuths do what the internet sleuths did and revealed that she had an affair with a married man. So, you know, just be
Oh
careful what you put out.
gosh.
Just be careful what you put out there, ladies.
Okay, so I had heard of it. I didn't hear the part about the the deep dive. But I heard her say like if you're a certain size you shouldn't be doing pilates and you should go to the gym. But I don't know how people are still careless when the internet exists. Like we're in rough times right now.
I'm
Everything you say
saying.
is under scrutiny. So that was pretty bold of her. That's about all the highlights that I have now. I mean, hopefully there'll be more for next week. But I wanted to talk about something I was thinking about. I was thinking about doing something called like the MAFS mailbag. Like, if anyone had any question or an opinion that they want, if they wanted my opinion on MAFS, it's because that's what the show is about. But honestly, about any reality show, if it's an example, like let's say, who do I want to win Survivor? Who do I think is coming on? Or when what couple on maps really annoyed me, who do I love so much, anything, it could be anything, and then it just be something that we read out and Jen and I can share what our thoughts are on whatever it is. Send them my way, like any way that you want to, Instagram DM, Twitter DM, email. You can send it in and maybe I'll put a post up and do like the question box. I think it'll be fun just to keep things going. We're doing everything we can till the season comes in. So while we're on that, a question that I have gotten multiple times in the meantime is, do you know when MAPS 19 is coming? And the answer is no, I do not. I have my ears to the ground. I know Peacock did their upfronts. They announced Married at First Sight, but they have not set a date. My guess is that it's going to be in the fall, but I have no idea when it's going to be. I'm also keeping an eye on MAPS fan in case she has the scoop, and we'll see. But my guess is going to be fall. But just a reminder that it's going to be on Peacock. It's not going to be on Lifetime anymore. And I know a lot of people have been saying that, oh, they're not going to pay just to watch maps. But I just want to let you know, this is not sponsored. This is not, I wish Peacock would reach out to me, but no. But just letting you guys know that there is a sale going on right now in preparation for whenever maps is. And it's valid for like a year. It is for new and returning subscribers. So even if you have a Peacock account, you can still get this. It's 1 year of Peacock Premium, but it has ads, FYI. It's for $24.99 for a year. You have to use the promo code Spring Savings. But 24.99 for a year for Peacock is pretty damn good because that's like 79.99 is the regular price. So you're saving like about $55 and you'd be ready for maps and you don't have to worry about it. So if you were thinking about getting a Peacock subscription, not only for maps, guys, actually I think, Jen, that Peacock is the app that I use the most, mostly because I'm in the Bravoverse, but it has a lot of good stuff on there.
Tane,
So
they need to pay you some money because that was the clearest, most concise ad read I've ever heard. So I don't know who out in the Peacock universe needs to know this, but sign this girl up. She's ready.
oh, I wish all the people heard you, but yeah, I'm just helping friends here. Not an ad, like I said, guys. So run, don't walk. Go ahead, get signed on this, and this is valid until May 30th, 2025. So you got a couple of days. Get in there. I just want as much people to see maps. I hope we don't get people and hype maps up so much, and then Pika completely screws it up, and they're like, "What is this mess?" So
They're like, what if we made it a competition show? Like, let's throw in this, and we're going to have TJ Lavin be an expert. We're going to do a crossover with the challenge. That would be funny.
That would be funny. Okay. So that is, I think, all of the things before we get into the episode. So we'll just take a little break and then we'll be right back. Okay. And we are back. This is back to 1 hour episodes. This makes me so happy. And this reminds me that it is possible
Yes.
and it is doable. And the thing that stands out to me is the action movie soundtrack. I don't know if you, it's just a lot of dun dun dun
Right.
that's going on all episode long. But like we did last time, we will pick up where we left off, where Elizabeth and Jamie were about to get married. I need to stop saying that and say Beth.
Yeah, when does that happen? Like I feel like I know again, I'm trying really hard not to dig into anybody's social medias and approach this new, but I'm like, when does everybody start calling her Beth? And I thought maybe when they had drinks, he was gonna say, oh, do you have a nickname? Like when does the Beth come in? This is driving me nuts.
I didn't even notice until you said it on the episode that, and even I was like, wait, don't we know her as Beth? But I was calling her like Elizabeth and something else. So yeah, we pick up with them, and Jamie is really, really nervous and saying that he's not sure what he's doing and he doesn't want to say that he has cold feet. And Jamie's dad is giving her advice and saying, just be kind and patient. You're a lot. And she says that she and her dad's souls are connected and she's crying that he was her first love. Like she's like crying. You know when people cry when they have a full face of makeup and they put their head up so they don't ruin the makeup? No, her makeup is streaming down her face like there's street. um Jamie's mom comes by as he's having a freak out also. Like I think he was crying, but we didn't really see. And she's like, "You're usually my rock." And he's like, "Yeah, not today."
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't sign up for this. I'm on TV and I'm going to marry this person I've never seen before, which I'm still on the whole we know you're marrying somebody you've never met before, but the fact that they say over and over again, I'm marrying a stranger. I can't believe I'm marrying a stranger. It's like, that's the name of the show. This isn't a
Yeah.
mystery. Stop it.
It's a case of hypothetical versus reality. And according to what some of them have said, they apply them with alcohol or they make them wait for like so long so that your mind like just goes crazy and creates all the scenarios.
No, I guess that makes sense. And we're only seeing clips of that whole day.
Yeah.
So I'll give them some grace there. But yeah.
So as they were waiting, I'm looking on the groom's side, the bride's side, just a sidebar. I did see one of Beth's friends who she still is friends with as seen on IG. So I don't know. I just thought that was cute. Because sometimes you see these people. Was it Emily from the Denver season who by the reunion she wasn't even friends with some of the people that were her friends in the intro package. So I just thought it was cute that Beth's friend is still her friend after all these years.
Well,
So
and let's be real with Emily. That those some of their friends weren't friends at all. So it's probably better that they don't keep in touch with each other.
yeah, so Beth is having a freak out as well. And as they're walking about to walk down the aisle, her dad is like, "Do you know this guy?" But he's asking because Beth can't stop laughing. But we learned that when she's nervous, she can't stop laughing. But at the end of the day, back to what I said last episode, where yes, there are people that are scared, people that are like terrified. But at the end of the day, what all these couples in this season had in common for their weddings was they were still excited and happy to get married, because Beth can't stop saying, like, this is so nice. Like, this is just so nice. And this is so great. And the crowd is just applauding for her. And it seems so little, but I don't know. That just felt really nice to watch as a viewer.
Yeah, this feels sweet. Again, this feels way before all the social media stuff. And so there seems to be an absence of that with these couples where they really truly are in it versus
Mm.
I'm in it because I'm going to propel some other part of my life. So that really does come across. And I think one of the things I'm having a tough time with Beth and Jamie is getting past basic Caucasian sex. So now everything in my mind is basic Caucasian something. And I was like, oh, Jamie's got really basic Caucasian chompers and all their friends on their side are like basic Caucasian friends. So like everything is just real basic Caucasian stuck in my head.
Oh, that's a disadvantage when you have the catchphrase before you actually got to it in real time. You have to add that in there. But it's
Yep.
fine. Yeah, so when he introduces himself when they meet at the altar, she's like, "It's a Jamie." And then Jamie's like, I don't get it. I don't get the joke. And then her dad is like, "Yeah, all my other kids' spouses, their names start with a J, so you fit right in." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I wondered if the experts knew that.
I don't know. It seems like a total accident that it happened, and but I like that instead of just laughing it off, he was all, "Wait, I don't get it. I want to understand what's happening here," which might be a little light into what you got to do with Beth slash Elizabeth. Is
Yeah.
wait, am I understanding what's happening? Like, there's laughter. I want to be real clear on what this is. So I don't know. I have he makes me very nervous, but in this moment, I felt a little something for him. I'm like, okay, he's in this for the right reasons, at least in this moment.
Yeah, because they've painted him out to be like he's such a stickler, he's picky, and maybe like I don't know. I can't get a read on if they're trying to portray him as, what's the word? It's not stiff, but like not down with the part. What's the word I'm thinking
Yeah,
of?
maybe it's just anal or just like rigid or just real
Rigid. Yeah,
specific, real
yeah,
specific.
yeah. So maybe he felt like, wait, are you laughing at me? Like, do you think Jamie's a girl's name? Like, like that kind of vibe. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't tell. Are you asking because you want to be in on the joke, or you just want to make sure like you're not laughing at me, right? So, but yeah.
And
But
I'm with you too. Like I was getting the sense that they were trying to paint him as some kind of cad, like kind of what he said
mm,
about the woman at his bachelor party, the card dealer, where he was like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm getting married tomorrow." So I think they're trying to make him come off as a player, which
yeah.
he's not helping himself. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of redemption coming. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I think watching the show for so long, it makes you not trust. It makes me not trust my instincts. Where I'm like, ooh, I want to root for you. I want to protect you, but are you going to be bad later?
And I'm here trying not to spoil it, even though I know people are like, well, it's not a spoiler. Like they're everywhere. What's going on with them? So, yeah. Another coincidence is in their bios, they are both described, Jamie as a Southern gentleman and Beth as a Southern belle. So, yet another coincidence on there. And their vows were nice, their vows were cute. And at the end, when it's time to kiss, they do have a proper kiss, complete with a dip. So that was nice.
Did and Jamie is or Jamie Beth is so dramatic and over the top and everything. Like every time he said something during the ceremony, she'd be like, our name is Thompson."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I on the one hand, it's kind of sweet and it's disarming and it keeps you from being nervous. But then I also wonder, like, where does it end?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was about to spoil it for you, but I won't. So they have their after chat, and he asks her, "What do you do?" She says she's in sales and marketing. I think she left out the part that she works for her dad. And I just thought it was cute how nervous she was. She was just really nervous and still nervous after the ceremony. She tells him that she's really fast paced. She has a lot of energy. There's a lot of ups and downs. And he's like, he's the same, that he's up and down as well. Jamie tells us that sh Jamie tells us that his wife is gorgeous and he's attracted to her. She asked him what his pet peeves were. He was like, "Oh, are you punctual?" She's like, "I like to think I am. My dad says I'm not." He's like, "We can work on that." They start taking pictures. Their wedding pictures are cute. She says she loves kissing him, that he's cute, he's sexy. And Jamie says it feels very natural and he just felt like he could just go in there and kiss her. At the reception, Beth says she's not going to eat the salad because it has dressing on it. And I don't think Jamie knew what to do with that. And
Yeah, because it's a little like, wait, what? And it was so funny when at the ceremony when they're all, oh my gosh, she's got this really weird phobia, and we're not going to tell you about it. It's a condiment. He's like, is it mayo? How did you guess it was mayo? Yeah, it's what? It's not a mystery. You didn't say acai berries. It's mayonnaise. It's not so unusual. Yikes.
some random pig. So, all the family and the loved ones come to do a toast and a thing for them. And I have a question for you. Beth's dad has a bit, I would like to call it, or a joke, I guess, where he's like, he does all the things for her. She doesn't know anything about registration. He noticed that it was expired. And so he came with the envelope with all the registration details, gives it to Jamie, and says, that's your problem now with the late fees and everything on there. Do you think that's cute or a red flag?
Both. I think because my dad did the whole she's your problem now kind of thing. I mean, he didn't come with paperwork, but he said, she's your responsibility now. And I think their family is so jokey that I think he was trying to give some levity to the situation. But also, girl, you're 27. How are you not managing your own registration? And that makes me wonder from a red flag perspective, are you still on your parents' insurance? And Jamie doesn't know that she works for her parents still. So with knowing it's a red flag and also without knowing it would be a red. What'd you think?
Um, I wanted to say that she's 30 because that was her
Oh, that's
30th birthday.
worse. Oh, that's worse.
Where they had that party and she was saying for the credit card and the joke and all that kind of stuff. I'm leaning towards red flag because I just think there are certain things as adults that we should know how to do and be responsible for, and it's not cute when you're playing helpless.
No.
So there're just certain things that you should know. Like, you know how sometimes when they say, "Oh, you need to get a wife so they can cook for you," man or woman, it's not a gender thing or thing. They're just certain things as adults that you should know because they're just life hacks and things you should know if you're leaving breathing on this earth.
Yeah, and car registration is not that's not
Yeah.
a hack. Like you have that happens yearly. Come on.
Yeah.
Uh, have you
You can
ever
put that in a planner.
for sure put a reminder in your phone? Also, they send you reminders all the time, and also there's a sticker on your car that's a giant reminder. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Ooh, have you seen that movie from the 80s, Pretty in Pink?
Yeah, I do, but I don't remember like the details. But yes, the Molly Ringwald.
Yes, but not the details of it, but the sister that gets married and she has the muscle relaxer and she's, or four muscle relaxers, and she's going down the aisle and she's like, I can't see with this thing on, and takes off her veil. That's the one thing that popped in my head when Beth was taking off her veil. I was like, oh no, she's Jenny from Pretty in Pink. I hope she didn't have any muscle relaxers.
So, okay, so that happened, and then it was time for the cake, and then I can't remember what she said. Something about if you smash this on me, you have to go get pedicures with me. And then they smash cake on each other. Where do you stand on that smashing cake at the reception?
I am not down for it at all. I mean, I don't know any woman that's like, oh, hey, I spent hundreds of dollars to get my makeup done. Please ruin it by smashing this cake that I also paid hundreds of dollars for in my face. I don't get it. I don't think it's funny. For me, there's another way to express humor without kind of messing with each other. And if you've seen any of those reels, some of those get pretty kind of aggressive. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm not down with the cake face smash at all. Where do you stand with it?
I'm 100% with you. It's just unnecessary to me. Like, it's not the only way to show that you can have a good time, whether you're a free spirit or anything. Like she said, I think he got her lashes. Those are not cheap. So why would we go that route? Like, let's just feed each other cake,
Right.
you
But
know?
also, not that I'm going to be a Jamie apologist here. She started it.
Yeah, it's both of them. Um, yeah, so the night goes well. Everyone's talking to each other. I have to mention this mass tradition that I really, really hate, where a friend of someone who is, they know how to say this person is just a stranger, but they're not a stranger enough to ask, are you gonna have sex tonight? What are you gonna do tonight? And then starts asking all these invasive questions. And best friend just flat out asks him, what is your expectation for the night? And he's like, a good one. And then they're like, what is your definition of a good night? I'm like, guys, I look forward to the day when this ends on maths. If you want to ask the question, maybe have the couples talk to each other and ask each other that question. Like, I'm not gonna do this tonight, or are you open for to it, or are you not? Because at the end of the day, those are the two that should know, right? So I don't understand why friends of strangers, of people who they've never met, might never see again, are asking someone, "Are you gonna have sex tonight?"
And also, for my bestest friend in the whole world who I've known since I'm 20, I don't want to know. I don't, I, great. If you want to tell me about it, awesome. But I'm definitely not going to ask you about it. That's extremely strange to me.
Oh man. So yeah, so that was it with Jamie and Beth. Did you have any other things that I didn't cover
I
for them?
did. I don't know if you remember, but there was a point where Beth is talking to Jamie's mom, and Jamie says something along the lines of, well, Jamie has dated women and very young girls. And I was all, that's a weird thing to say, mom. That's super weird. And now it's on TV. But
I remember. She says there lots of them have been young, and then your lady, something about the fact that maybe they haven't been ladies or classy or something to that effect. But basically, if you were Jamie X at that point, Mama was dissing you.
exactly.
So yeah, okay. We will move on to the next couple, which was Iris and Keith. They are the last couple to get married, and Jen, what a damn good, attractive couple these were.
They are so good looking together. And I think in terms of winning over the family, like at least for the wedding, everything was a textbook on what you should do. Everything that happened is exactly the way it should happen when you're meeting a stranger for the first time. And when Keith, oh, everything was chef's kiss. I love this. This was textbook.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say that I think for this season, I want to say that on paper, I do think the experts did a good job of matching the couples except for Matt and Amber. I just feel like with Matt and Amber, they matched her trigger point. She's looking for stability and to be loved, and she has like a past of picking the wrong guys, and you picked someone who is at odds with his family and the stories don't seem to make sense, and that that cannot lead to stability. So other than that, I think everyone was matched. Like even with Keith, I can see why they were matched because to your point, I do think that their families are a good match. You know, I want to shout out a listener, Marion, who mentioned that they did watch the matchmaking special in preparation for the rewatch. Thank you for that dedication, actually. And they were like surprised that Pastor Cal was the only one who had some concern about Iris being a virgin. So
Okay. Well, then why didn't that come up? Because that's a thing. It is
well,
such a thing.
it came up in the matchmaking special. I guess they didn't want to rehash it again from where we started. I was surprised that it wasn't Dr. Pepper because Dr. Pepper did study she was a sex not a sexologist, but she studied something in the sexual realm in the sexual area and stuff. Dr. Viviana, I can kind of see she's the sexologist, but I can see her not really pushing back because she's new. I'm not just gonna come in and just throw in all my opinions and stuff. But I'm surprised that maybe it wasn't a thing for Dr. Pepper. But
No.
yeah,
But
interesting.
even if Viviana, even, not to raise flags, but even if she were to ask Keith, how would you feel in this situation, so that maybe it wasn't such a bomb
Yeah.
on the wedding day, and then I have so many questions. Keep going, keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so Iris says that she's nervous about the sexual part of their marriage, that she knows he'll get there, but she doesn't want him to be so focused on that, that it's going to be slower for them. She has a lot of energy. Like, she gives me energy. Do you see that?
For sure, especially when she's with her dad and she's like,
Yeah.
when she's sitting with her mom, she's like, "Oh, I'm purity and white," and then her dad comes up the stairs, she's like, "My dog." It's like, who is this? What happened to you? Yeah,
That's funny.
it just came out of nowhere.
So when they go down the aisle, Keith introduces himself to her mom. She's very welcoming. Of course, she is because she's seen a cute guy. She's like, he's so cute and he's so nice. Iris has a moment like Jen just mentioned with her dad to shake up the nerves. She's like dropping it low. They're like dancing and all of the things. And they go through the ceremony. Everything was nice. They introduce themselves to each other. He says that she's attractive. They go for their after chat, and then she mentions that she doesn't drink. And I don't know if she made an exception or if it was non-alcoholic. I'm not quite clear on that part.
Yeah, I had that question too because they said it but didn't go anywhere. So I chalked that up to maybe it was a cut where we didn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was like, oh, also might be a good time to bring up something else, Iris, while you're there talking about stuff. So weird that she didn't bring it up.
But here's the thing, when is a good time to bring these things? Because part of the critique for David was that he brought up all these things for Michelle right after the wedding. But then they're like, I think on the after party, I don't know if Keisha was the one who said, give them time to at least enjoy the wedding. Then you have that conversation. When is a good time to tell your stranger husband that you're a virgin?
I mean, if you're already talking about stuff you don't do, that seems to
I
fit in the
mean,
conversation. I don't know. I mean, how he found out isn't better as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, it's not. But that's when, honestly, everyone should stop telling secrets to each other. But we'll get
Right?
there. Keith said he's liking it, that she has great energy. Keith also says that she's relaxed, and I'm like, that is not a word I would use to describe Iris. She's not relaxed. But he says that they're vibing. They start taking wedding pictures. All their pictures are cute. He's like kissing on her neck on there. When the photographer asks for like a kiss, they give like a black movie kiss, like a proper tongue, everything in there. And, there's all that chemistry. We can see it. I'm like, okay,
This is why did I get married 3 right here.
okay. So they go into the ceremony. It was fun. And I'm trying to think from your memory, because my memory is just not quite right. Are they showing more of the weddings than they are in New Era, or am I just tripping?
It feels different. It does feel faster. I think we're
Yeah.
seeing less of the couples talking to each other because I think sometimes that drones on a bit
Mm-hmm.
nowadays when they talk about, oh, I like this color. Do you like this color? Tell me about this. Da, 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 da. So I think we sped through their talking to each other because if you remember last
Mm-hmm.
season, like Madison and Alan seemed to go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we sped through that piece and got more to the family stuff because maybe just this season there was more going on with the families
Yeah.
that we didn't need to see that much with the couples. But I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. My memory, like I said, is shot. So
Right.
I was relying on your on what you thought. So they get to a point where her dad is practically wailing. It's not crying, it's not sobbing. I think he's wailing as they're having their first dance. And it brought me to your question because I think you made a comment about Beth and her relationship with her dad in the first episode. What do you think about Iris and her dad's relationship? Is it about the same, or is the difference the jokes, or are they on the same level? What do you think?
I thought their relationship, Iris and her dad, Tony, I thought their relationship was a little bit more kind of playful until we got to the wedding. And so then it got into a place where it seems strange on the level of Beth and her dad. So before the wedding, I was good. I thought they were friends. I thought they hung out. I thought he was gassing up his daughter. He said, I'm here to support you. But it didn't feel like a nobody's going to get between us kind of way that it is with Beth and her dad.
Yeah. Yeah, that the sobbing, and he couldn't stop. Like he literally had to go outside. Someone was consoling him, not his wife.
I noticed that
And
too. Who is this lady?
I don't know where she came from. I'm like, where is his wife? And they even call for a father daughter dance, but because he is still crying uncontrollably outside, they had to move on to the son and mother dance. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, and we'll get to it later, but what was going on with the DJs this season of MAFS being wholly unprepared for these family dynamics?
Yeah, yeah. I made a note on that too. That was interesting too. Um, so they were talking about how their future is going to be, and she's like, oh, we should be comfortable, and this is Iris. And at some point she goes, yeah, we have to get comfortable with each other because at some point we're gonna poop and pee in front of each other. I'm like,
Absolutely not. That's not in the vows. That's not in anybody's vows. Nobody signs up for that. Mm-mm. Nope.
it's day one, like
Mm-mm. Nope.
relax and all
But
that.
also, I'm in day whatever 8 times 365 is, and that doesn't happen.
Mm,
Mm.
I don't know. What's TMI? Pee I can do. Poop, I don't know. We don't need to go all there. So, I mean, I don't know about all of that. No one needs to smell anybody's stuff. All right. Keith goes up to Iris. Keith's mom is stunning, by the way.
She did.
I
I
just think
loved her
she's gorgeous.
dress. I liked that kind of what jewel encrusted necklace, and then it flowed down, and she, I don't know, there's something about his family that was real stylish at this wedding. Even Grandma Sarah had it going on with her little wig. So stylish little family.
So, Iris's no, Keith's mom goes to Iris and is like, I notice you're wearing white. And I'm like, isn't that what most brides wear? How does that stand out? And then she's like, is there anything symbolic about that? I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I'm a virgin and it was religious and it's been hard. Don't get me wrong, it's been very hard. And then she's like, her mom is like, that's awesome. And that says a lot about your upbringing. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess those of us that weren't virgins, we were raised terribly. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know, it says a lot about your upbringing. What does it say? I don't know. Um, I just there's something about this. Okay, let me finish this before I go out to my thoughts. So she says that she doesn't know how many virgins he has encountered.
Which, okay, mom, TMI. How close are you? We're worried about how close the daughters and the dads are. Do we need to be concerned about how close the mother?
Well, she says she doesn't know how many he's encountered, but marrying a virgin is huge, and she thinks that it's important that he knows. My thing is like, is this okay? One, I thought that this would be a good thing. It seems like they're a religious family. His grandparents are pastors. She's talking about upbringing. She's very happy that he is. But then you can see the concern that, well, I don't know how many he's encountered. This is going to be a thing. But then there's something about it where did she come up with this on her own, or did the producers ask her and prod her to doing that? And then did she agree to do that? Like everything about it was just question mark, question mark, question mark for me.
I feel like what we know about the show now, this isn't a question that the mother would randomly ask. So I think somebody prodded her gently. And because I think he said that him and his mom are really close, his mom's like, oh, yeah, that's a good question. Let me ask that. I don't think she thought twice about it. I don't think she thought it was going to result in what it resulted in. So I think, yeah, I think it was certainly planted.
Mm. It's just something I feel they should have let Iris tell him on his own, because immediately Mama's like, well, he needs to know, so I'm
Yeah.
going to tell him. But the way that she tells him is like, did you notice she's wearing white? Again, isn't that what brides wear? He's like, yeah, I did. It was white, right? No, he said it was cream. And then
It's
she's like,
great.
it wasn't cream. It was white. He's like, okay. And she's like, do you know what that stands for? He's like, no, tell me. What does it stand for? Like, it was just so weird. So she actually tells him, she's like, she's never had sex before. I don't know if she said it with glee or they told her act natural and that was the best she could do. It
Yeah.
was just weird where she said she's never had sex before. And then
And why is that a better way to say it than, oh, she's a virgin? Like, it's that was a weird phrasing for me to come from a
yeah,
mother to a son, especially one where religion is such a big deal for them and they were so concerned about the situation. It just seemed like a weird way to phrase it to me.
yeah. I would have expected like she's never been with a man before or something
Yeah,
like that. But
something. She's never been touched.
that's worse. Immediately you can see that Keith is not happy. And if I was a betting person, I would have been like, maybe this is the day where maybe he already knows that he's probably going to say no. I don't know. But his face and demeanor just changes, but he's aware that the camera is on. He says, like, it's a huge surprise. He thought about many scenarios that could have happened marrying a stranger, but he did not think of this. That now he feels nervousness and he feels pressure. And I was just like, yep, this was a terrible idea. Like, I'm sure they were trying to zhuzh things up for the season, but they just lost out on what could have been like a successful couple because this is just a lot
Yeah. And
to
I
put on
think
someone.
too, and I was watching them not closely, but some things stood out to me knowing that she's a virgin, where uh where he had they were having their dinner and he made a comment to her about, hey, are you somebody that minds me touching your food? And she said something like, no, you can touch me anywhere you want, we're married. So I think there's, and then just to your point about their kissing, like this wasn't a, I'm meeting you for the first time, I want to take these slow. And when they were dancing and her dad's like, oh, you better watch where you're putting that hand, I could see how this would be a complete shock for Keith because there was
Yeah.
no indication leading
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
that wouldn't be the case. This wasn't like a Mirla situation where she was like, kiss me on the cheek, don't touch my hand, go away, da da da. Like I could see where if he had gotten that
Yeah.
reception, that maybe he would have been like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But there was nothing about her behavior that would lead him to even consider that there would be any reservation. So I could see why that would be so shocking for him.
Yes, that's a very good point because it's like we don't know what kind of virgin Iris was. We don't know if it was a anything but or if it was like a no, I just want to peck because I think she
Right.
had like even more of a passionate kiss than maybe say Deanna and Greg and something. And she's like hugely attracted to him. I think when they went up
Mhm.
to the bedrooms, her words were, I didn't plan to lose my virginity on the first night, but I am so lustfully attracted to this man. Right? Verbatim. So yeah, that's a good point that, Keith maybe would have been like, oh, she's kind of shy or whatever, but she wasn't. They were like all in on that. But she says like she's going with the flow. And that was another thing that I didn't remember. I did not remember that Iris was I don't know, is DTF going too far? But practically she was. She said she said, I don't know, I'm going with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. So we'll see. So I don't know. That's how it was. They should have let, and this is what I mean by when is the right time to tell someone because I feel like it puts a damper on his night that otherwise he was having a great time.
Yeah, but I guess, and I don't know if you had any insights into why Iris felt comfortable telling his mom before him, because with everything, I don't know, she seemed to be somebody that really wants to follow rules and propriety and let me do things properly. And I don't know if it's proper to tell your mother in law something so personal before you even told your husband.
Well, I think the answer is one, producers, because she asked. And if the mom asked, what was she going to do?
No, it's
Not
true.
say anything. She had to answer the question
That's
and
true.
she didn't get a chance. I will say, though, that there was a similar situation in the most recent season of Married at First Sight Australia where she had a kid and he didn't know, but the parents found out or somebody found out. And she just grabbed him. I think when they were giving their toast, maybe the mom was like, "You're good," and she was like, "1 second," and she grabbed him and took him to the side to be like, "Yeah, and I have a kid too." But yeah.
Two dubs.
Okay.
But the last thing was that apparently, mom really had no concerns about it because she was already talking about grandchildren. She was like, I like that she's tall. We want tall grandchildren. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't think she had any concerns about what was going to happen later that night.
Much like life, and I've said this again and I'm going to say it again. When you're attractive, life is just easier for you. And that's why I've said if you just put two attractive people together, and like Keith and Iris are conventionally attractive people. They're not like, "Oh, I don't think so.
Right.
They're not my type," or they're just attractive people. So when you do that, it's just easier. It's easier for Keith to be like, "Okay, she's cute. I can let this go." She's like, "He's cute. I'm lustfully attracted to him." His parents are like, "Okay, I can see grandchildren. We're gonna like it." Her mom was grinning from ear to ear by the time she just saw him all on the basis of being attractive. That's it. So
Well, then I'm going to argue with you a little bit there because I think it was attractive, but it was also her saying and doing the right things in terms of, she asked, like, tell me about your family. And he's like, my grandparents have a reservation. All right, I need to win over your grandparents. And she did that. She went to the grandparents. So I think, yes, conventionally attractive gets you a long way. But if you're conventionally attractive, but you're also following conventional rules of how we interact with people in society, that gives
yeah.
you a boost.
Yeah. Maybe we're both saying the same thing. Like, yes, I agree too. Like, it helps. Like, you can't be
Yeah.
like pretty and then be nasty on there. But I think it creates more of an open mind environment where, okay, I'm willing to hear what this person or what this person is going to do. So the combination was A plus plus. But
Yeah.
at first glance, they're like, okay, this is gonna work. This might work. We're gonna have
Yeah.
tall grandchildren and things like that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Anything else with Keith and Iris?
No, I'm again, I know nothing about this couple because I haven't dug into anybody's social media or anything. So I my hopes are high, but I also understand that this virginity thing is more than just you snore or you were with an ex a couple weeks ago. Like some of the things that dooms couples, this on the list of those things that dooms these couples is pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the things that I thought that gave me concern about them. That wasn't about her virginity, but in time, we will get there. So, okay, we'll take a little break and we'll be back for the remaining two couples. And we are back. Okay, not much for Deanna and Greg. They took their wedding photos. Those were cute. Deanna says that she doesn't kiss on the first date. And I'm just like, oh, here we go again. It is not a date. You are married to this man. And as soon as that thought completed in my mind, she's like, yeah, but it's my husband. And I feel comfortable with him. And he seems respectable. So we'll go ahead. Greg says like it's a weird balance of awkward and comfort, that she has a bubbly personality, so there is chemistry. They are at the reception about to eat dinner and they're saying grace when all the glass clinking, another MAFS tradition, begins. And they kiss, but again, it's just that chaste peck, kiss that's, going on. When the loved ones give their toast, Greg's mom again says, anything you want, he can cook. Greg is like,
Mm.
Mom. so
Within reason.
so yeah, so they didn't really feature them a lot because it was just the receptions of the wedding. So I don't know if there's anything else that you have on them, but that's all I got for them from this episode.
Yeah, no, I think maybe because a good chunk of the last episode was them, that maybe they wanted
Yeah.
to spend more time covering the other ones. But I was still happy to see them on screen. I was still happy to see the optimism behind Deanna. I was still happy to see the optimism behind their parents. I like when they were talking at the reception and they're like, yeah, we already have a trip planned and you're invited too. So I like that they as a family have embraced this whole thing and they're looking at it holistically and how, you're not just marrying her, we're blending families. So I really like them.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they are. Okay, our final couple was Amber and Matt. My goodness, as they were taking the pictures, this height difference is something. It's very, very glaring in the pictures. as they're going through that.
I mean, she said there's almost a 2 feet difference between them. That is wild. I don't even
Hmm.
understand mechanically, and I'm not even talking about in the bedroom. Like, how do you hold hands? Like, one of your arms is going to be tired. I, I don't. This is not. I don't know if Pepper's husband. She's got a real big height difference, and she's like, "That's not going to be a problem." I don't know. There's something about this height difference that seems so wild to me.
It is. He says that there's a chemistry that he did not expect them to have. Amber is still, in the words of Iris, lustfully attracted to this man because all she's talking about is wanting to make out with him. Matt says that she's so forward, but that makes her more attractive. And then Amber claims that she's not even an affectionate person. You could have fooled
Maybe it's the champagne talking. Maybe the
me.
champagne makes her real affectionate.
They have their chat. I can't remember if it was during the photos or just randomly as they were during the reception. She shares about her mom not raising her and that her mom is Puerto Rican. And then she has a Dave moment because in one full breath, she's like, "Yeah, my mom left me when I was little. Yeah, my mom didn't raise me. She lived in Boston, but she lived in New Hampshire, but she's a lesbian." And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
I feel like MAFS needs to take a clip of her saying that and the clip of David and show it to all future contestants and be like, do not do this. This is wrong. That was a lot.
Yeah. Like he takes it in stride because he actually feels better. He's like, you know what? I mean, he mentions that his family is not here, and she's like, why? But immediately says, oh, you don't have to tell me. And he's like, oh, okay. She's like, you can wait. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll just wait.
Yeah, but then I'll just tell your bridesmaids and your sister before I tell you. That's fine. That works. No
Yeah.
worries. What?
I don't know if there's any way to mitigate that. Like, if someone doesn't want to talk about something, do the producers take that and then tell the family and friends, well, ask this question, you're backing them in the corner? Or is there a rule like, well, I have to tell my spouse first, so I don't want to tell? I don't know
Right.
what the best way to handle that is. Because if he's like, I don't want to say anything yet because it's a conversation I want to have with her, they're just going to go back like, I don't know, this doesn't sound good, and that creates worry. So what is the best way? I don't know.
And I don't know if this is a producer plan. I don't know if you remember from the last episode when the friend, I think her name was Amanda, one of the bridesmaids, was like, I don't see anybody on his side that looks like a parent. What's his name? Da, da, da. I was like, okay, Inspector Clouseau is on the job. So I think she was going to find out regardless. But I still feel weird about all of these people telling other people before they tell their spouses. Like that feels
Hmm.
uncomfortable to me. But again, this we don't know how much of this is production driven. But this was like the theme of the episode is let me tell everybody but my partner.
Yeah. So I mean, it worked out for Camille and Tom because Tom told the bridesmaids that he's cheated before, and then Camille took it in stride and was like, "Well, you know, I'm not going to hold it against him." So who knows? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Oh my gosh. Do you get the sense, and I don't know if I'm reading this wrong because I just don't like Matt, but I get the sense that Matt likes her because she likes him versus him having clear feelings for her.
It's too soon. Honestly, this is day one. So I can't fault him for him having feelings, but what we know is Amber has that people pleasing spirit in her, and she's already attracted to him. So you combine that together and her thinking like, "Oh, this is my fairy tale. This is going to work. I'm attracted to him. He seems nice. He looks good. This is great." And he just seems a little cagey right now, so it's too soon.
That's why I don't understand where all this is coming from. He doesn't say anything. He stands there. He gives you half answers. He gives you mysterious answers. I don't know. There's something about him that just drives me wild and not in a good way. It's just like, what are you doing here, sir? He reminds me of like a mortician where he's just standing there in a suit being quiet.
In due time, Jen, we'll see if your instincts are right or wrong.
Okay, probably wrong.
So, to your point about the height difference, they try to figure out the logistics of their first dance. She tries to put her hand up. It's kind of a stretch. Then she just puts it around his waist, and then people are laughing like, ah, he's so tall. Keith says, knowing what she went through, that it makes him feel better. They can bond over that, and she'll understand, what's going on his side. Um, we referenced this a little bit. I don't know if it was on purpose, but the DJ kept announcing, and now we introduce Matt and his mother to
Oh,
come on the dance floor, come on the dance floor multiple times. And I'm like, okay, again, producer driven, or what kind of mistake is this? How do you not know that the mom is not here?
I would like to hope that the producers are not that cruel, that they wouldn't, he's already really sensitive about this whole thing, even though it's 2 years old, that you wouldn't keep throwing salt in that wound unless, again, the producer planted Amber's mom to do a fill in. I don't know. The whole thing felt strange to me.
I get torn, and I don't know if this is what puts me in trouble, but I don't want to think of as producers as cruel, because then you have to define what cruelty is. But on the other hand, I do know, and as a watcher of Unreal, that at the end of the day, their number one priority is to make a show, and to make a show with drama. So if they have to create or exacerbate a situation, will they call it cruel? We call it cruel, but to them, is it them doing their job? All this to say, like, I don't put it past them to do it,
Mm. Well, and
because
well, then I
it
don't.
creates a situation.
Yeah. Well, then I don't blame Matt for being, holding his cards close to the chest if this is kind of how he's getting approached. And maybe that's why he feels so cagey to me, is because he's being put in situations where he's consistently made to feel uncomfortable. But
Well,
also great callback on Unreal.
but I want to say that I don't necessarily think that Matt feels bad. He didn't tell his parents that he's there. I think he's one of those people. I don't think you watch Vanderpump, but like Tom Sandoval, who I feel are droids. They basically operate on the fact of like, is this what a human would do? I think this is what a human would feel. Like if someone's mom wasn't here, they'd feel bad, right? And then his playing dress up and saying that. Because I don't.
Now, as much as I dislike Matt, I would never give him a Sandoval comparison. How dare you? Yes, of course I watch Vanderpump Rules. But I think Sandoval is very intentional. Like Sandoval does what he does because he wants a specific reaction. Problem is Sandoval's too dumb to get the reaction that he wants,
Mhm.
and it blows up in his face. I don't think Matt's there yet. I don't think Matt's that calculated. I think he's just, I don't want to have these conversations. I'm mad at them because I'm mad at them and they know what they did. And that's a strange place to be in when you have to be on a TV show talking about your life.
Okay. So Amber's mom does a nice thing and comes in and asks, are you okay if I do the dance with you? And he's like, I'm so grateful. And that was really nice. Even Amber is surprised, which brings back what you said last week, where it's like, you're not in my life, but then you show up for this big thing. And now you stepped in for my husband, who you haven't met, and do this grand gesture for him. But again, she seemed surprised that her mom did it. So do we know a different version of Amber's mom?
I don't know. And then she did the whole, after her mom danced with her, she did the heart signal with her hand. I'm very
Mhm.
confused about the nature of their relationship. I was like, what's happening here? And maybe Amber's just toasted, and that's what comes out.
Or did Amber play up the story to get cast because she has a story, but it's much, much, much better than she said it was?
Maybe, but again, for somebody who said, I'm not affectionate, but let me put these heart hands to this woman who left me, and I don't see that. I don't know. Everything about these two is just weird. I cannot put my finger on what's happening.
Okay, so the family are meeting each other. Amber's family asks Matt about his family. He mentions their divorce. The question I've had is, I'm not sure why a divorce mattered in them not being present, them not talking, or showing up for the wedding. Like, at the end of the day, he still didn't tell them or give them the choice to decide if they want to be here or not. So something's not adding up for me.
What's really not adding up for me, and again, my parents divorced when I was 2, so I'm not in that situation where my parents were married for that long, but why is he so personally offended by his parents getting a divorce? Because he keeps saying, well, that's it, you're not going to work it out, whatever, you're
Yeah.
just going to give up. It's like, that seems like a strong reaction to have. I thought maybe one of them was unfaithful, but if that was the case, you might side with the parent that got cheated on. But he seems to be pissed off at both of them. And then he's not also talking to his sisters. Like, what's going on here? There's something bigger than what we're seeing, because nobody's there to give any other perspective, and he's not giving it either.
Yeah, it's the dangers of divorce is not an option. Divorce should be an option because then you're trapped. The only other person who's not the only other, but another person who recently said it was Brennan from
Mm,
season
mm,
17, and it's like
mm.
divorce is not an option, and then you get in there and then your worst self, and then what, you're gonna stick it out because it's not an option? No one deserves to be miserable. So if you're saying, oh, they're married for 27 years, you couldn't just make it, and then 5 seconds later he said 30 years, so who knows? But then it's like, do you know what one party was going through? More than likely maybe your mom was just putting up with shit this whole time, and she was just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm on the other half of my life and I don't want to do this anymore. Like, why are you so, you're an adult. You should figure out what was the
Exactly.
reason why they separated, what is happening. Oh, I hope not to repeat these mistakes, but you're focused on the semantics of they were together for a long time and they probably should have stuck it out till they died. Okay.
Right. And he does, and it's not like he, I don't think, lives in the city that they live in where he's going to see people very often. You don't even, you, isn't he a recent transplant to North Carolina?
Exactly.
So
Also,
what's happening?
Marion, since you watched the matchmaking special, did Matt have a home? Was he renting a home or was he staying with someone when they did the home visits? I'd like to know that.
He's in
Thank you for
somebody's,
your service
he's in a
in advance,
basement. He's in a basement.
like everybody else. So Matt says that there are no boundaries on the first night. I don't know, Matt or Amber. I can't remember who said it. Honestly, either of them could have said it. But they were all touchy feely when they got in. They all carried in their wives. I might have missed it, but I did not see Jamie carry Beth in, but I saw Greg, Keith, and Matt. I think all the weddings were fun. I think they all ended on a good night. I think they all find each other attractive, which is the most you can ask for, the best case
Woohoo!
scenario.
For sure.
So it was a good second episode. I am looking forward to them going to the honeymoon because the honeymoon is where things start to unravel and we start seeing the true sense of people. The only bad part about the honeymoon is the incessant questions of, did you have sex? Did you consummate your marriage? Did you consummate your
Oh.
marriage? That's the only thing. But other than that, we're going at a good pace with just an hour. So
It can be
yeah.
done. It can be done. Unless you're
So yeah.
watching on the Lifetime apps and there's 700 commercials.
Hmm. But yeah. Any last thoughts?
No, I like this season. I think it's so fun to go back and see how the everything develops differently historically, and maybe the producers need to watch some old episodes because there's good stuff there. There's some things that work really well that maybe they need to revisit again.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Jen. Well, share with people where they can find you.
Okay, so my husband and I are still traveling through Thailand, so you can see all of our adventures. Right now, we're on a 4-day road trip from the north part of the country to the southern part and learning so much. So, see what we're up to at jns.adventures on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, and you know where to find me. It is Altacall, MAFS, ALTARCALLMAFS on Twitter, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, and on Threads. And please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you're so inclined. Really helps the podcast. And let me know if you have any comments, if you have any questions about the season, about maps in general, or any shows, and I will read it out loud on the next episode. And we'll be back for episode 3 next week. Thanks for listening in, guys. Until then, bye.